welcome everyone to another week of the Focus TV. We've got Octavia Wyatt here, Raymond Lyons, I'm Wilson Tarpey Jr. We're going to get straight to it. Octavia, the NFC East, very fun times, big prime time divisional games and whatnot taking place. The floor is yours.
Yeah, if I didn't know it was an option to call out today, I would have done it. But alas, here I am. So there were only two games in the NFC East this week, with the Commanders on a bye and two of the teams playing against each other. So we'll just get straight to it. The Philadelphia Eagles played against the Dallas Cowboys. I want to get the pain over first. Let's just get it over with. The Philadelphia Eagles played the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys defeated the Eagles 24-21. Jalen Hurts was 27 to 39, 289 yards, one touchdown, and 7 carries for 33 yards and two touchdowns. Saquon Barkley had 10 carries for 22 yards, 7 receptions for 52 yards. And A.J. Brown had 8 receptions, 110 yards, one touchdown. On the Cowboys side, Dak Prescott was 23 of 36, 354 yards, two touchdowns, one interception, 5 carries for 9 yards and one touchdown. I was about to say Jamison Williams. Jesus. Javonte Williams had 20 carries for 87 yards and 2 receptions for 14 yards. George Pickens had 9 receptions, 146 yards, one touchdown. And Brevin Spanford had 1 reception for 4 yards and one touchdown. And that's the end of this segment, so I can play. Yeah, it was a conundrum. It was literally for the Philadelphia Eagles a tale of two halves. They skunked the Cowboys in the first half 21-0, and then they got skunked in the second half, and the Dallas Cowboys scored 24 straight points. They led early, like I said, with 3 touchdowns. Hurts had 2 rushing touchdowns. A.J. Brown finally got his touchdown and his receptions up, and look what the result was. I'm not saying that they go hand in hand, but a lot of complaining about things when you're winning, and now you get your way and we're losing. It's kind of ironic if you think about it. He had 8 catches for 110 yards. Devontae Smith also added an 89 yards. But yeah, in the second half, they just completely I think they went to sleep. I don't know. They had 0 points on 8 drives, 107 total yards. They punted 5 times. They had a fumble and a missed field goal. Like, who can write that up in the 4 o'clock window when everybody in the world is watching the game? It's just crazy. They have a lot of self-inflicted penalties. They have 14 penalties for 96 yards, including drive killers, false starts, defensive pass interference calls, whatever penalty it could be, it happened, which erased big plays and extended the Cowboys' drives. Saquon Barkley with a very costly fourth quarter fumble that killed the momentum of a promising drive that they could have possibly scored on, but unfortunately for them, that did not happen. He also didn't have a great day rushing. Now, granted, he did only have 10 carries, but he had 10 carries for 22 yards, 2.2 yards per carry. And apparently after the game, he admitted that he's in a funk. I'm gonna need him to go take a shower and get this funk because this cannot be it. Another thing coming up, of course, is I have literally not listened to like sports media probably for like the last 2 weeks just because the noise is just so loud. It's just a lot. Um, But the one recurring thing just always comes back to I just feel like, well, one is it's the offensive play calling. Kevin Patullo, like I don't, like I said, I think I said this earlier in the year. It goes like this. It seems like every other year we have an incompetent offensive coordinator, then they fire him, then they get a good one, and then we do good, and then we lose that one, and then we go back and get incompetent, and then we're here again. So we're in that cycle right now after losing Kellen Moore from last year and Kevin Patullo this year. Hopefully he gets it together. The lack of commitment to the running game of this game is just glaring. The Eagles are 8-0 when Barkley gets 14 plus carries and 0-3 when he doesn't, and he only had 10 carries. So they abandoned the run. Sometimes, the non-sexy story behind it all is the noise from AJ Brown starting to change the way, the noise of everything they said about Jalen Hurts and all of that stuff. Are they trying to prove themselves too much instead of just winning the way you went? Like, just shut the noise off and just do that. But here we are. Obviously, the defensive injuries, and of course, they had to be tired out there in the second half because the offense did nothing. They lost Adore Jackson in this game, as well as Reed Blankenship, and I believe Drew Makuba actually broke something. I can't think of it. The rookie. So that's not going to help. Plus, of course, Lane Johnson is out with a Liz Frank fracture. So the offensive line is not 100% intact. So it's bad that they lost this game. The Cowboys are riding. I don't want to just say they're riding an emotional high. Like, that's not just it. Of course, I'm sure that's some of it in there, but they're playing better. Like, that's the key behind it. And one thing that nobody can fault me for saying, and I say this all the time, that games within the division are weird. They're always weird. Teams that should not beat the team, they do. The Cowboys had a shootout with the Giants earlier this year. The Giants beat the Philadelphia Eagles this year. It's just crazy sometimes within the division. Luckily for the Philadelphia Eagles, they were able to at least split, but they split with the Giants as well. So they have two more division games against the Commanders that they're going to have to sweep in order to not really have to worry too much, in my opinion, even though I haven't seen the numbers as far as the percentages, but it's just not a good look. And then on top of that, they have a short week. They'll be playing on Black Friday against the Chicago Bears. There has been this whole online Bears and Eagles truce or whatever it is. They're working together because the Eagles beat all of the NFC North outside of the Bears, and the Bears beat all of the NFC East outside of the Eagles. So that will come to a head at the end of this week. On the other side, on the other side for the Cowboys, again, they were down 21-0 on the game. They came back and they just refused to go away, to be fair. Dak, again, 354 passing yards, 146 of it going to your new wide receiver number one, George Pickens. CD still has a case of the drops. For whatever reason, it seems like it just happens against the Eagles. I feel like it's more glaring against the Eagles, as we saw in the first game of the season. But he's had some key drops. We know he's had some injuries this year, but and to be fair, George Pickens is in a contract year, so he's playing out his mind to get his money, but it's going to be very interesting when it comes down to it. But 9 catches, 146, a touchdown, including a 24-yard grab that set the game-winning field goal. He's now over 1,000 yards for the season. And like I said, he's looking like number one out there. Their special teams also did pretty well as well. Rookie defensive back Elijah Clark had a hustle play on the punt and forced a fumble that flipped the momentum. A lot of people were saying it was the play of the game that really turned it upside down in the favor of the Cowboys. And Brandon Aubrey nailed a 42-yard game-winning field goal, which is a chip shot for him. But in this game, he did have a miss that is outside of his character. So that was kind of weird to see him do. But he is human. Now, I said the Philadelphia Eagles have 14 penalties. The Dallas Cowboys had their own share of penalties within this game as well. So there's still some cause for concern as far as cleaning those things up as well. They committed 9 penalties and also had 2 turnovers, including a goal line interception. And Kayvon Turpin did have a fumble all in the first half. Nearly costing the game, but again, their resilience pulled them through and they were able to, like I said, score 24 straight points in a game and win. That's usually what they do at home, to be fair. They're a really good home team. They play well, and the way that they came out was not the way that they usually do when they come out of AT&T Stadium. So it was for their fans. I'm sure it was nice to see them get it together in the second half. This was the last time the Eagles blew a 21-point lead was in 1999 versus the Cardinals. And this is tied for the Cowboys' largest comeback, 21 points, and they've done it 3 times. So they also have a short week this week, and I am a Chiefs fan this week. I'm just joking. But they play against the Chiefs on on Thanksgiving. So everybody's eyes will be glued to that as well. I know I hate primetime games, so I hate to be playing on Friday, but I'm happy they play before us, and we'll see what happens. Last but not least, the New York Giants played very tough against the Detroit Lions. They lost to the Lions 34-27. Jameis Winston was 18 of 36, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 4 carries for 13 yards, and 1 reception for 33 yards and a touchdown from Gunnar Olszewski. Interesting. Tyron Tracy Jr. had 20 carries for 62 yards and 3 receptions for 68 yards. Devin Singletary had 16 carries for 44 yards and 2 touchdowns and 1 reception for 3 yards. Wan'Dale Robinson, probably his best game, 9 receptions, 156 yards, 1 touchdown. And Isaiah Hodgins had 2 receptions, 42 yards, and 1 touchdown. On the other side, talk about somebody who is also the number one where they are. Jared Goff was 28 of 42, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Jahmyr Gibbs has been playing out his mind. 15 carries, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 receptions for 45 yards and a touchdown. Hat trick on the day. And to add insult to injury, Amon-Ra St. Brown also had 9 receptions for 149 yards and a touchdown. It's crazy to think that they had that type of offensive production from 2 players and they only won by 7. And the game was pretty close for majority of the game. Like I said, the Giants played well, just their defense has left so much to be desired. But on the offensive side first, Jameis Wilson, who of course is in for the injured Jackson Dart, 3 for 366, 2 touchdowns, and again caught a 33-yard touchdown pass on a trick play. He also converted critical 4th and 10 scramble in overtime before being sacked to end the game by, I can't say his name, but you guys I'm talking about, for the Lions that broke his leg last year. Wan'Dale Robinson, again, career day. He played really, really well. But it's also showing because they don't have that much depth that it's just Wan'Dale sometimes. Sometimes Darius Slayton had a good game. But it seems like Jameson is really leaning on them and Theo Johnson as well. But the defense. Their run defense was shredded, obviously, with Jahmyr Gibbs running for 219 yards. I mean, it seems like David Montgomery didn't even need to break a sweat in this game because Jahmyr had it handled. And they can't hold a league. I mean, they actually allowed 11.8 yards per carry, which is crazy. That's wild. Despite 2 sacks from their rookie, Darius Alexander, and a clutch interception by Javon Holland, they just can't hold the lead late. And that's on both sides, I'll be honest. The defensive side and the offensive side, they just never can seem to put a full game together. And the defense was so bad that they ended up firing their defensive coordinator and Shane Bowen, who was fired after the game. And then people are, again, scratching their head as far as head coaching decision-making. We know Mike Kafka is interim head coach now for Brian Daboll. I think, once you have a change in leadership, usually the team kind of rallies, and I think that's why they really played last week and some this week too, but it's starting to wear off pretty fast. They had some questionable calls. He opted to be pretty aggressive going forward on 4th and goal instead of just kicking a short field goal, which possibly could have won them the game at this point. And then they have poor clock management, and they just did not ever make any adjustments to the likes of Jahmyr Gibbs. So it was just not good in that aspect. So they're now back looking for a defensive coordinator. I'm not sure who they named as interim for now. The Giants have now lost 5 games after leading in the 4th quarter, and that's just not a good stat to have. I lost who they play next week. Oh, they play the Commanders play the Saints. The Giants play, it got cut off on my sheet. The Giants will play against the Patriots. So they will play a Monday night game against the Patriots, which probably is not going to be fun either because the Patriots are number 1 in the NFC East. I mean, the AFC East, excuse me. So all 3 teams that played this past week are going to have tough games this week coming up. The only team that might not have too tough of a game is the Commanders, as they'll play against the Saints. But the Saints play hard, and we know the Commanders are missing a lot of key players. We'll see if who comes back since they were on a bye this past week. Does Terry McLaurin come back? Did we ever see Noah Brown? I hope we don't see Jaden Daniels, but you never know what you get when you get with the Commanders. So, yeah, we'll do it all over next week.
All right, Ray, I'm going to pass things on to you for the Wizards. They're in the midst of the game tonight. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But if you want to tell everybody how they got here after a wonderful road trip that it's your segment. You tell the good folks what happened on the road trip.
Yeah, it was tough sledding on the road, man. Over the last week, they were at Minnesota, at Toronto, and at Chicago, and they lost all three of those games. They are trying to get off a 14-game skid at the moment. They are up 77-55 against the Atlanta Hawks. So, things are looking good with 24 minutes to go. Tonight the first quarter they just couldn't miss. They came out the gate and scored 45 points in the opening period. So they kind of gave themselves a little cushion. We talk about that magic number all the time. If they give up a 40 quarter, then we know it's going to be a loss. Let's see if they can, kind of reverse fortune. And since they put up 45 in the first quarter, let's see if they can hold on to win. But yeah, man, they look good tonight. Obviously, they had an out of body experience shooting the basketball, but the ball was moving. They were having crisp offense, and they play a little defense as well. That typically goes in your favor when the other team actually has to take the ball out instead of running out off turnovers or defensive rebounds. They held the Hawks to 42% in the first half and 29% for three, and they forced 9 turnovers. So they're pretty active on defense to go along with their high offense. But I mean, just the story of them has been inconsistency on both ends. More pressing on the defensive end because they just haven't been able to stop anyone, and that's been the cause of their woes. They've had games where they've been sharp offensively, but they weren't able to get stops. So, if you come out, you're shooting the lights out, but you just give it right back on the other end, you find yourself in a close game. And then when there's some aggression to the main and the ball's not going in for you and you're not getting stops, that's how you end up on a 14-game slide. So, hopefully they can kind of get themselves together tonight. Third quarter just started. So, like Wilson said, we'll check in later for Wizards Outlook, hopefully with something positive to report.
Yeah, I do hope that it's something positive. Otherwise, I don't even want to talk about the otherwise.
I hope that for both of
you. I'm going to leave that there. I can't. I don't know how many more of those I could take. So I need it to just honestly something positive. That would be wonderful. On to more basketball, which is a little bit more positive, or has been a little bit more positive. We'll get to the Maryland women. They've been busy with this non-conference schedule. It's another week where they had multiple games in the week. That said, they got a lot of things done this week with a tough George Mason team coming into their house. I think they've done a really good job of showcasing local teams in the area coming into Xfinity, and all those teams have come in, roaring and ready to go. George Mason and Maryland have a shared opponent in that, they both played Georgetown this non-conference schedule already this early in the season. So it's good to see local teams get after it. But for this one, this up on the screen for you guys real quick. George Mason, as you guys can see here, they got off to a good start. They led Maryland by 1 after the first quarter. The game ended up being tied at half, but as you can see, Maryland had to make a little bit of a run to get back into it. Zahira Walton, she had 17 points in the first half for George Mason. She came into this game averaging 19 a contest. Again, she had 17 at the half on 6 of 6 shooting. You guys are going to see this in a little bit. Sailor Poffenberger had she had a nice little flurry of points to end this first half, and it ended with her hitting a runner right here, right before the buzzer sounded, just to get Maryland back at 0 before they went into halftime, which I'm sure Brenda had a wonderful message to them. You can only imagine what was said. And as they started the second half, they kicked it into gear. Maryland responded immediately, going on a 13-3 run, the first 7 of which were unanswered, taking a 68-53 lead into the final period. The Patriots did keep responding, starting the fourth quarter off by forcing a turnover and then scoring it off, I think, a mid-range jumper right after it. The Terps used the 10-0 run to pull away late for the 84-62 win, but everything started in the third quarter for Maryland. One of the things that really popped off the screen is, I know I've said this a couple times, but Oluchi Okanwa, her athleticism is just dumb. She's stupid fast. And to start the third quarter, she's the type of fast where they're able to bend corners and not lose acceleration. And it's given so many teams problems. Scylla Poffenberger in one of Maryland's, quote unquote small ball lineups, which is, they did a lot of damage in this one with it, which was Poffenbarger and Yarden Garzon is like the 4 and a 5. And then they even mixed it up with Mir McLean as the 3 with Alucci and Addie Mack as your guards. They did a lot of damage because in those lineups, Ray, that means that you got to deal with their best shooters being the 4 and 5 in that lineup and opposite corners. Then one of the things they started doing was running pick and pops between Garzon and Poffenberger, taking turns as the ball handler, just putting added stress on the defense. And when they're playing their 2-woman game over there, you still got to worry about Mack and Okanwa just getting into the lane, just raising hell at times. But George Mason was led by Walton's 27 points and 2 steals. Kennedy Harris also added 11 points and 5 rebounds. And Mariam Moateng had 9 points and 5 assists. Maryland was led by Alucci's 23 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. And Yarden Garzon added 16 points, 9 rebounds, nearly missing out on a double-double. Addie Mack added 12 points, 10 of which came in that third quarter. So in that third quarter, the trio of Mack, Okanwa, and Garzon combined to score 27 of Maryland's 32 third quarter points. Those 3 went bonkers to like really just kind of blow open the game and honestly end it at that moment. Addie started the second half at point guard. Kendall Walker got the start in this one. You get over to the channel to see more in-depth breakdown of, just thoughts on Walker and her progression as she's getting comfortable again. All freshman point guards. They lost Leah Bartolome, unfortunately, to an ACL injury, but you're still going to this year with freshman point guards, and there'll be a lot of growth and whatnot. But Maryland's defense, once again, got them out of a tough spot. Next, they head to Puerto Rico for the Discover Puerto Rico Classic to face 16th ranked Kentucky on Wednesday, and Hofstra on Thursday. They'll return home next Wednesday to face Mount St. Mary's. So we'll get into some of the take it or leave it with y'all now. Where do we want to start? Oh, yeah, here we go. It's a great place to start. Myles Garrett. Mr. Garrett broke his own franchise record of 16 sacks, which he did twice, with his performance this weekend against the Raiders. He had 3 of the team's 10 sacks. That's pushed him to 18 with 6 games to go. He's currently 5 sacks away from breaking Michael Strahan and TJ Watt's record of 22.5 sacks in his single season. So simply put, take it or leave it. Ray, we'll start with you. Is Myles going to get this done or not? Take it or leave
it. With the way he's playing right now, I'm going to take it. I don't know what he's been on, but he's been getting to the quarterback, and it doesn't seem like anybody can stop him. So I don't think it gets much more complicated than that. They got 6 games left, and how many sacks does he need? 4 and a half? 5 sacks in 6 games? If I was a betting man, I'd put my money on or him go ahead and wrapping that up. But no, he's been playing out of his mind lately. So yeah, and I know he's aware of that, and he's going to try to go ahead and get that record. So yeah, I'll take it.
I'd say if you take it or leave it.
Absolutely taking it. Like he gonna do. I mean, you just say he did 3 in one game. I mean, it's the Raiders. Don't get me wrong, but 10 sacks in a game for a team is just crazy. Yeah, he's definitely gonna get it. Looking at some of the teams they play for the rest of the year, the Bears. We know Caleb loves getting sacked. It was one other they played that also. I mean, I hate to say it, but Josh Allen's been sacked a lot this year. When they played the Houston Texans, he was on the ground for majority of that game. And if Myles Garrett can do anything that they did, he's gonna get. And I hope he gets it in 16 games, just to hear nobody's mouth. Not that it matters, but just to hear nobody's mouth, because people are always going to talk about it. So I hope he does it in the 16 games and not have to worry about, oh, he had an extra game. Okay, whatever. Yeah, but like Ray said, if I was betting, and I might just try to go find a bet to be fair, get a little extra cheese. Yeah, he's gonna do it. I mean, shout out to him. I mean, he making a lot of money. They ain't winning no games, but I guess you can't have everything.
Oh yeah, I'm with you guys. I definitely think he's gonna get it. Keep in mind, he had 3 this weekend. He had 5 against New England earlier this season in a loss. One man had 5 sacks. He had 3 of the team's 10 in this one. And the Raiders is a whole different discussion as to why you got sacked 10 times. But you know, if you choose to employ Chip Kelly type things happen to you. That's your
Tell
choice.
me about it.
You made that decision.
You did if you got Chip Kelly.
That's all I'm saying. You seen 2 other teams go, my bad, we won't ever do that again. And y'all were like, you know what? Maybe to be different this time.
No.
Nah, you deserve every bit of that. Looking at the Browns schedule, right? They got the Niners next week and then the Titans.
Oh, I missed that.
I think he's going to break it before he gets to the Bears game. I think he can, depending on what Brock's on next week, he can have 3 or 4 next week. All right, like, let's be perfectly honest. You got 4 other people not named Trent Williams to go pick on. And also, just honestly, like, at this point in time, like, you were moving Trent last year and the year before when you were playing. So, you know, you also just have the luxury of Colton McKivitz, Dominic Pooney, Jake Brendel, bless his soul, and the rotation that they have at left guard. I can see 3 sacks next week. Again, yeah, it's my team or whatever, but I can easily – I've seen lesser people ruin games against that front line. Myles Garrett is not lesser people. He's the opposite of that. I can see anywhere between 3 to 5 next week, or Kyle might go with the Aaron Donald game plan, and maybe you keep him maybe you get a clean sheet. But then it's the Titans after that. Brother could have 5 games in that one. He could have 5 sacks in that one.
Absolutely.
He had 5 in each of the next 2 weeks. I really don't know, but I'm with you, Octavia. I do hope he does it in 16 games. So I hope he does it in 14. Like, make it to where nobody can even say anything. We're just like, all right, Bray, you're a cheat code, and then we're done. So even if somebody breaks it later, they're like, Miles did it in less games. So
yeah.
We will.
But you know, they always gonna find something. They be like, yeah, but they had a losing season.
to me, honestly, like, you broke a record while playing on a team that had no chance of winning.
That's true. That means you had some dedication.
Hey, Ray, I'm just saying, like, the other people
broke dedicated, like, my man.
with like winning was like, let me get this so we could win. Like, you had 5 sacks in a loss, brother. You knew y'all weren't winning that game, and you still had 5 sacks. Like, I think that, to me, that outweighs the people who did it with winning is the ultimate prize, because you knew you weren't. You knew that there was a chance you could have 8 sacks and your team lost by 2 possessions. There's legitimately a chance every week. But we're going to circle back to the Browns a little bit later. The WNBA draft lottery took place over the weekend. For the second year in a row, the Dallas Wings will be selecting first. Last year they took one Paige Beckers. Many folks have already started to speculate about them taking her former teammate, Azzi Fudd, or Spain's very talented big Wafam. Take it or leave it that those are the 2 best fits for Dallas. Octavia, we'll start with you.
I need to know what they're doing in these lotteries though, because it's out of control. These teams continuously get the number one pick back to back years. It's crazy. Because before the Dallas Wings, it was the Indiana Fever. They had it felt like 3 years in a row. Like, what is happening? So, can we get some variety at this point? But neither here nor there. I think it's too. I'm kind of like in the middle. I think it's too early to really tell. I think right now, when I looked at the draft projections, they had AZ as fourth, technically going to the Mystics. I mean, to be fair, like you can't go wrong with either one of them. Like, let's be real. Like AZ is AZ, and then I mean, of course, you're always going to have the fact that she played with Paige, so that's already ready-made chemistry. And I mean, everything else I will be an adult about. Ready-made chemistry. So, I mean, you have that, and then like you said, the talent that is the player in Spain. I can't say her name and think of it right now, but who you mentioned. Can't really go wrong at this point. It's hard to go wrong when you have the number one pick because there are a lot of talented players coming out of this draft. So yeah, I would take it just because again, you can't go wrong with either one of them.
Ray?
I'm gonna leave it because they're just in disarray. They're not in a position to be taking any chances. Just pick Lauren Betts and move on with your life. They need a big. Don't make it complicated. And it'll be a shame to have the number one pick 2 years in a row with nothing to show for it. Yeah, they just pick Lauren Betts, man. Like don't let her slap past number one because if she's not the best player in college basketball, she's one of the best, and she addresses a need that they desperately have. So I just think they need to not outthink themselves and just do the thing that makes the most sense.
Yeah, Ray, I'm with you. Like I saw that noise this weekend, and I was just like, "Oh, we're out here just tripping, huh? We're just acting real, brand new." I love AZ. Y'all know UConn fan through and through.
Oh, Lauren, yeah,
all day. Those are my girls. I love them. That said, what are y'all on right now, man? Like, what are we doing? Like, it's a healthy 6'7" big that likes being 6'7". What are we doing? Ray, you, myself, and Cardell, I think it was last year, we were all in College Park when UCLA came to town. Brother. So thank you. So you had the same reaction I had when I saw this noise on Sunday evening. I'm minding my business. I forgot about the draft lottery, just having life happen. I see noise about, they got the number pick. I'm like, cool. Then I saw the names following. I was like, we missing somebody? Are y'all allowing her to stay another 2 years in school? Like, are we wrong? Maybe I missed. How do we misplace the 6'7" center? What y'all doing down here, man? Y'all got a chance to get some Penny Shaq type stuff, like Orlando Penny Shaq type stuff. And y'all like, nah.
Ooh,
let's look at in door number 2 and door number 3. Also, if you do, again, mind you, I believe Minnesota picked second, right? So, courtesy of I'll leave that alone. If y'all mess around, unless Cheryl Reeve get that, I don't hear anybody complaining because y'all started this crap this Sunday when they got that pick.
Oh, y'all are right. I changed my mind. Oh my God. So please don't do that.
So you mess around if you want to. I promise you, Cheryl Reeve's not about to let that woman slide to 3, 4, 5, or 6. That card is going to be there as soon as you say not Lauren Betts. That card is turned in. Like, y'all out here doing a whole lot. And then when you look around the league right now, like, BG, bless her heart, had a couple key years stolen from her, and we all know why. But what's left in the league at that size right now?
Nothing.
And again, Ray, what were your impression last year seeing her in person?
unstoppable. Like,
All right, cool. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't sure because I know sometimes I'll be on one. So I just wanted to make sure. All right, we're gonna move over one more time. Drake May. So if I asked you all who was leading the league in passing this season, would you guys have picked the guy in this picture?
Only because they talk about him all the time. It's the second coming to Tom Brady. I might have guessed it eventually, but probably not first.
Okay. But it wouldn't have been your first choice. It would have took you a little bit. So after they said, no, you're wrong, then you would have been like, okay, maybe.
I'm like, the guy that you guys love. Okay, cool.
Okay, that guy. All right. Well, Drake May is leading the league with 3,130 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions this season for the 10-2 New England Patriots. Take her to leave it. They found their QB of the future, and the Pats are back to running the AFC East. Right.
I mean, I'll take it on the QB thing because it seems like he's kind of finding his footing. But I think it's a little too early to hand him back the division. Yeah, that's just something that's got to play itself out. They do this 2-3 years in a row, then I mean, obviously the results speak for themselves. But yeah, I don't think it's to that point yet. But yeah, he's definitely steadily been improving. So yeah, I think he's at a point now where you can feel comfortable with him at that spot.
Okay. Octavia?
Yeah, I'm the same way with Ray. Like, I'm indifferent on taking it or leaving it. I'm taking it because, yeah, he's the guy that you keep there and let him continue to grow in that position where he is currently. I wouldn't be looking for a new quarterback next year. But I would leave it in the fact of I need more than a year. I just do. I can't, I don't take it seriously anymore. We crowned CJ Stroud at first, then we crowned Jaden Daniels, and then we crowned Sam Darnold for 1 year, and then we crowned JJ and then everybody just goes back to normal. So I gotta see it for a longer sustained period of time before I would ever be like, oh yeah, he's that. I think he's also going to have more eyes on him, of course, because of where he's playing and who he technically is replacing, even though we know Tom's been gone for a while. But yeah, they definitely have a good opportunity. He's playing well. He's improved a lot to go from being Drake to Drake in like a year, and everybody loves him now, and he's a MVP candidate and all this other stuff. Like, that's a lot to have to continuously live up to. So I want to see how he goes next year. I mean, of course, I want to see how the season ends for them. I think that'll also be a telltale sign, because last year we talked about Sam Darnold all the way through the season, and then he got to that playoffs, got his ass whooped. So I think he has a good chance, and I think that they would be foolish to not give him the reins at this point. But I think he still has a lot to prove.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. More has to be done in terms of owning the conference. I think people are still a little bit too quick with that, but at least you know that I do feel like they got their guy. I'll give them that. I feel like they got the guy. And Octavia, I'm sure you can relate to this a little bit. I give the Patriots credit. I know it's a new regime or whatnot, but I appreciate what their coordinator has done because, we talk all the time, like, Ray, on the basketball side of things, where the kids aren't always prepared properly for, what's to come in this level or whatnot. I also feel like at times with quarterbacks, it's specifically quarterbacks on the NFL side. I don't feel like any of them are properly prepared. And then sometimes they go from, a lack of coaching before you get to the NFL to absent coaching in the NFL, depending on where you land and who your play caller might be. We've seen the levels of play calling can truly affect the quarterback, veteran down to the youngsters, and especially the youngsters. Because, Drake last year to Drake this year looked like this coordinator was like, hey, I looked at your tape, there's like 5 to 8 things you do pretty well. What if we just keep doing those things and dress them up differently? So you're comfortable until we move on to new things. And Drake is like, hey, I agree. I like these things too. As evident by the 21 touches.
They definitely got a professional coordinator. They have a professional coordinator that sometimes that's your lane. And Matt Patricia, that's your lane. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it. Do what you do.
We're gonna stay in NFL one more time for Take It or Leave It. Leak's not here, but similar to the Drake May question, are you guys aware of just how dominant JSN has been this season? And JSN, for people who might not realize, is Jackson Smith-Njigba, has been for Seattle. He has 1,313 yards on 80 catches with 7 touchdowns. Take it or leave it that he's been the best wideout in the league this year. That's the caveat from the last question. For this year, we're not even talking about, potential or whatever, just this year, Octavia.
Hell yes. I'm taking it 10 times over. He has been cooking people, bro. With Sam Darnold. He is cooking people. And the reason why I've noticed, of course, like you said, Malik's not here. That's his team. But I got him in my fantasy. And every day I look up on that thing, it'd be like 30 points, 2 touchdowns, 150. I just be like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, he's playing he's playing the best at wideout this year. Of course, there are some others that are playing well. We talked about George Pickens in the contract year. Who else playing? I guess you call a resurgence for Devontae Adams out in LA. But for Jackson Smith-Njigba to go from the 2 behind DK Metcalf to now being the guy and proving why they were okay with letting DK walk and him being the guy. Like, I know we talk about Cooper Kupp is there, Toy Horton is there and stuff like that. But I don't even think about nobody else that's catching the ball in Seattle if it ain't Jackson Smith-Njigba. Like, the only reason I can tell you what one of their tight ends' names is because I had one of my tight ends in my fantasy get hurt, and I was like, well, I might as well pick this guy up, Barner. So, but it's nobody else. It's him, and he is carrying them. So, yeah, I'm taking that all day. He's having an amazing season. Hopefully, I know there's a lot of competition as far as offensive player of the year when it comes down to it, because we know, like, running backs can't win MVP. So, of course, Jonathan Taylor has to be in the offensive player of the year conversation. So I think he'll probably have some competition there, but he's killing it. He's having a great year.
Right. Your thoughts on JSN this year?
Yeah, I didn't even realize what he was doing until I think y'all guys touched on him last week when we were talking about Sam Darnold. And somebody threw out a number. I was like, really? And then I just kind of went back and looked. I was like, shit. Yeah, so when stuff be obvious, there's no need to argue. Like you said, it's an important distinction to throw on to this year.
Yes.
And this year, it is what it is. Like, previous years don't count when you're talking about it in a vacuum. So from week 1 to what are we in, week 13 or 12 or what have you? He's been the best. So, yeah, I'm taking it.
He already got 1,300 receiving yards. Already. 13 games. That's 100. That's at least 100 a game.
I think he's like on some crazy streak where he's at least getting set. Like, at worst, he's being held to 75 yards.
It's like him and Myles Garrett both need to be drug tested. Like, somebody at the locker after every game. Because what's that?
Or we just need to play some genomes, find out what planets they both really from, because they both have something right now. Jason, like, everybody knows Jason is getting the ball, and he's still like, yeah, that's cool. Hey, look, you guys are in quarters. I'm going to beat the safety and the corner on this post route. Bye now. And we're like, hey, Sam, if you throw it this far, it can't possibly get picked off. I'm not mad at him. I think that's a brilliant plan. Keep Sam safe. All right. We're going to move to rapid fire.
God, he's averaging 16 and a half yards a catch.
God.
he's
16.5
he's
yards per catch.
he
is
has
a
been
first
going
down
crazy.
a first down and a half.
Every target. Every target.
Oh, that's
And that's if he goes down when he catches it.
And that's from
That's if.
Sam Darnold. I know JJ Justin Jefferson, like, come back, Sam. I missed you.
Ain't that sad?
That's
you end up in a place like that where you really might be like, come back. But y'all see who's on the screen. Shedeur Sanders became the first Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback to win their debut. Oh my God, I feel old saying this. Since 1995. It's 2025. The first rookie quarterback to win their debut since 1995. And nigga, 17-game losing record for the team with the first time starting quarterback. The Browns would beat the Raiders 24-10. Sanders went 11-20 for 209 yards with 1 touchdown, 1 interception for 87.3. QB rate and the QBR was horrible because everyone loves QBR depending on what side of an argument you're on. If it helps you, you love QBR. If it's against you, it's not really the QBR. I like the quarterback rating instead. QBR is not real. If it's somebody you don't like, QBR it's gospel. So you guys really need to get a hold on this and pick one. The Browns defense was on what we talked about, what Garrett did earlier. Again, I'm just going to say it again. They had 10 sacks in one game. Shout out to Chip Kelly. While Stefanski would have named Sanders the starter after the game, less than a full 24 hours went by, and by way of Adam Schefter, the Browns named Sanders their starting quarterback going into next week's game against the Niners. Thoughts on Sanders' debut and what may potentially lie ahead for not just him, but also the Browns as they go through, as they go into next week and potentially the rest of the year, right?
First of all, they had 17 different quarterbacks in 30 years. That's disgusting. But I mean, he was solid. Wasn't amazing. Definitely wasn't terrible. Obviously, they got the win. So so it's good that he was able to go out there and have a positive outcome in his first start. Definitely some things to work on, some things to improve on. The receivers had a couple drops. So hopefully they can clean that up. But I mean, it was a solid debut. I mean, nobody should be surprised. I mean, he's obviously talented. He's finally got some reps with the first team and it paid dividends. So I mean, yeah, naturally he should be the starter at this point moving forward. And hopefully he can make the most of the opportunity, especially after everything that's transpired, since he's arrived in the NFL.
Octavia, your thoughts on Shedeur and the Browns winning in his debut against the woeful Raiders?
I think it couldn't have gone any better for him, to be fair. It couldn't have gone any better than his first start in the NFL after all of the hoopla that has been around him since the draft was against the Raiders. Like, you couldn't ask for anything better than to get your toe wet, like dip your toe in the water against the Raiders. So I think that was a positive for him, but I'm on the same side as Ray. Like, it wasn't anything super spectacular, but it wasn't anything that was terrible. It gives you some type of knowledge of what you can build on with him and see where it goes. I think that this is the trajectory that I won't say we all, but a lot of people felt like would go for the Browns this season, that they would cycle through all of their quarterbacks like they do every year. That eventually Dylan Gabriel will have his turn, and now it's Shedeur's turn. It just so happens that it came at the expense of Dylan having an injury, so we won't know if he would have gotten more time before this. But at this point, like you said, like, you can't really go back. Because it would just be too much. Like, at this point, it would just be like, let him play through it. If he's doing horrible in their next game, then Dylan Gabriel comes in or something like that, whatever. But I wholeheartedly believe they're still going to draft a quarterback next year, regardless of how the season ends. Because I really don't think Stefanski likes them. And I don't know if it's personal or if he just does not like the type of player that he is. I think that he is reluctantly going with him because he knows the right things to really do at this point. But I just don't know if he believes in him. And I mean, a lot of people want to say it's, for other reasons outside of football. We don't know. That's just wasn't his guy. And some coaches just have a guy that they want. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel was his guy. Let's be real. I don't know if his guy was even in the draft. Maybe his guy's in this next draft, and he's like, I know what I want. Especially because, Kevin Stefanski did win Coach of the Year. So it's not like he's a bad coach and he's a bad evaluator at something. I just think that there's something that just might not go with the system that he's envisioning for them. Now, at the same time, I don't know what they're envisioning because we just ran off the stats of how bad the Cleveland Browns have been over the last 27 years. So I don't know what they're going for anyway. But I think for Shedeur himself, it went as well as it could possibly go. You get a dub when they haven't had any or a lot this year. I think they were 2-8 at the time. They might be 3-8 now. So that's a positive in itself, just getting the W. I think his defense helped them out, of course. I thought the running game was a little bit better when I looked at it. I know Quinshon Judkins had 2 touchdowns, but I thought they had a little bit more, but they only had 64 rushing yards. Excuse me. But yeah, I think it went as well as possible. So I'm very interested to see, again, with another full week of practice with the ones, like you said, people not dropping the ball and seeing how, it goes for them. But they play against
They got the Niners this week.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, and I'm gonna be as much as the Niners have lost key players and Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, their defense is still playing hella well. So he's gonna have a better test this week. I know the Raiders had Max Crosby, but that's about it. The Niners could give him some, especially he's young, he hasn't seen everything yet, he hasn't seen things that fast. So they definitely can give him a test. So I'm interested to see how he performs this week.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. It was a decent start. And I tell you, for all the things you mentioned, talking about Stefanski and that relationship, whatever it might be, with him in the front office, and clearly what we do know is everything's not aligned there. And I'll leave, not about to speculate, but I'm happy that everything's out there. Where now, the national gaze is over there now. I want to see how things go because, with Stefanski, even with, the 2 Coach of the Year awards and all that great stuff, he's 42-49 over there. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're over 500. Again, I'm not trying to knock him or anything like that, but it's not like, this is just a down year for the Browns. Like, no, this is just regular life for the Browns, bro. Like, this is normal. You every year, because of Myles Garrett, you have a top 5 to top 10 defense at worst. Yeah. You waste it, and you you regularly waste generational seasons from a just generational pass rusher. This is just what you do. It's just Wednesday on a different year. We can fast forward in a year, and you might be 4-9 again. So miss me about your quarterback and everything else. You know what you do have? A fully functioning, healthy Myles effing Garrett, sir. That's what you have every year, sir. Every year. Y'all traded Greg Newsome, and your defense is still kicking people's heads in. You just had a week with 10 sacks. And honestly, again, not trying to be rude, your offense hasn't worked this year at all. Like, that might have been the longest pass we've seen thrown by a Browns quarterback this year. Was the pass down to what's the young fella from Texas, Isaiah Bond, and he couldn't get into the end zone. That Shedeur threw was out of structure play, rolled to his right, launched the thing down. Phil, did you see the defense's response to it on the sideline? Like, bro, I hope you understand. Like, if Myles wakes up one day and it's just like, nah, like, that's the end of it. Like, he could just go upstairs and be like, nah. What do you think they're going to do, trade him? He chose to stay here on purpose. Nah, dude. So I wish you the best. I hope you make really sound decisions going forward. But again, if Myles wakes up and he speaks for the rest of the team, and the rest of the team's like, hey, yo, can we spin this again? They don't care about your Coach of the Year awards. Nobody's going to think anything. And again, like, at the end of the day, not trying to be rude, your career record's under 500, sir. If you were somebody else, people would be bringing this up on a regular basis. There's more accomplished coaches that get a lot more flack when stuff goes wrong, and none of them have had Myles Garrett every year.
Nick Sirianni, kill him every chance they get.
way more accomplished coaches get trashed, and none of them have bionic Myles Garrett. Like, you've had Myles Garrett unblemished in his prime. Like, Myles Garrett is a great dude. Couldn't be me. Like, when I tell you y'all are doing whatever I want just because I changed my mind, that's what I'm on. Trade me then. Like, nah, man. I got to come to work every day. Again, going back to those 2 years with back-to-back 16 sacks seasons, it's not like y'all were in contention. He balling like that is crazy. Last one for y'all, the Joker. He's already won MVP 3 times. We're off, it's early in the season or whatnot. Just want to bring these stats up to people just so people know. Two of those 3 trophies came back-to-back. He started this season. He's 6th in points at 29.6 points a contest, 1st in assists at 11.1, 2nd in rebounds at 12.8, while shooting 62% from the floor. Yes, that's a 6 followed by a 2% from the floor, and 43.4 from deep, also 85 from the line. So he's flirting with 60, 40, 90. Only bring this up because I feel like everyone is aware of the hot start. Maxi's got off too, SGA's got off too. And others, even Luka's heating up as of late. Now that you've heard what the Joker's up to, is he really gearing up to do it again,
right? He should be. I mean, yeah, I don't think it should be much discussion about this. No disrespect to those other guys who also having great seasons, but yeah, those type of numbers in there, 2nd in the West, like what? That's the epitome of checking all the boxes. Like, because other times when he's put up insane stats, but they're not winning. So, and I mean, I know it's still super early in the NBA season, but should this continue, I don't think it should be a conversation.
Octavia.
Yeah, he was like, y'all was doing all that talking last year about SGA. Let me remind y'all real quick, bro. And I feel like I think the part that slaps everybody in the face is like he just does it so effortlessly. Like, it doesn't even look like it hurts. Like, it doesn't even look like it's hard to him. So yeah, he's poised to do it. Again, like you guys said, we're still very early on in the season. They, like you said, they're 2nd in the West behind OKC. So there's always going to be that and how Shai's playing as well. But when we start really getting into the meat of it, if he's still clicking on all cylinders like that, how can you not? Like, how can you literally not? I hope it's not, what they call voter fatigue at a certain point where people are just tired of seeing him win. Well, I'm not tired of seeing him play great. So I would love to see him continue to win and get his just due. So I'm looking forward to it. I like the MVP race because it brings out the best of people, and I think that Joker kind of got that renewed energy again after last year. And I think he was still 2nd in MVP last year. So to know that he's not far off ever, like, of course he can turn it on. And I mean, I think Wemby is still out. So him being probably one of the only bigs that are playing to this caliber, I mean, I don't know how you could ignore it.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. Those numbers are absurd. I don't care what position you play. I don't care if he's winning before. 62% from the floor. The way that, how high he is on people's scout report is dumb. 43 from 3 is absurd. And like Octavia said, it definitely looks like he's a little bit more engaged to start this season off for sure. Because this feels like the Jokic we get sometimes, like when he's pushed to because of injuries to the team or whatnot. Like, I know Aaron Gordon just got hurt, but he started this year off on this. Like, this didn't happen once Aaron went down. He started the year off on this type of time. So credit to him. I hope people really take the time to appreciate just how gifted dude is. Like, he's amazing. But we'll see what it looks like. It's early in the season. But, yeah, he's been on one for sure. We will check in with you guys same time next week. As always, don't forget to get over to the channel and check things out. If you got a Roku television device or Amazon Fire TV or Amazon Fire Stick, all you have to do is go to the App Store, type in Focus TV and double tap OK to add the channel. For Ray, Octavia, and myself, y'all have a great evening.